Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the channel. So today we are going to be doing an unboxing for the Milwaukee M18 FUEL cordless table saw and the corresponding stand with it, and we're also going to be doing the first test. If you want to see all the specs, you can go on the website and read all about it. One of the key ones you do want to know, or that I found interesting, is this is supposed to do 600 linear board feet on one charge of the battery, which is an incredible amount of work. You get a full day out of that, no problem, if you're on job site construction. But this is more for home use, and I'm starting to move away from the corded tools. Just so much more convenient not to have the cords, and you can go places, get set up, and do all the rest of it. So let's go ahead. This of course has the one key as well. I don't even know what that is. Really, I am taking the approach that I am just the average Joe home user, which I think a lot of people are. We'll go do a full review on this after maybe I've used it for a year or so, but today just the unboxing and the initial first cut. I'm working on a garden shed right now, and I'm just building the base, and the base is just sitting on a gravel pad, but I've got some skids, and then I've planked it, and the last plank of course doesn't fit exactly, so I got to rip it down. So I'm going to do that for my first cut of this cordless table saw. I hope it goes well, but let's go ahead and open this thing up. Well, always look in the bottom of the box. Whole bunch of goodies down there. Charger. What I'm assuming is the battery. And of course all the manuals. All right, we'll just set this aside for now. All right, yeah, so this came with the rapid charge system. This is the first one I've ever had, but what I kind of like about it is it does have the battery holster for the 12 volt as well, so you don't have to have two if you're using 12 volt batteries, so that'll be handy. All right, I'm just going to open up what I think is the battery here right now, just so we can get it charging, and that way we'll be able to get our first cut. I imagine it's come pre-charged to some degree already. All right, now this is a pretty heavy battery. Now, this is the M18 REDLITHIUM high output HD 12.0. It does have a little battery life indicator on here, so that looks good. This is probably one of the biggest batteries I've seen actually, so probably need it to run these bigger tools, but quite substantial battery. Instructions says to save them, but you know, who needs that? All right, so we got the battery, we got our rapid charge system. This does have the, I think they call it the fuel gauge, where it's just basically the battery life in LED, and you just push the button and it'll show you how many bars of battery life you have left. This is probably one of the most substantial cordless batteries I've ever held in my hand. It's quite heavy actually. I guess they probably need to have a pretty substantial battery though to run some of these bigger high output tools. So anyways, this is the first Milwaukee cordless tool I've had that hasn't been 12 volts, so I'm just going to put this on the rapid charger and get that going, so when it's time to do our first cut, the battery will be good. One thing, this table saw is about 45 pounds, so it actually is fairly substantial. It's not just a lightweight piece of junk. This is a professional grade tool, so put that there. All right. All right, so here's the saw blade. Now, I don't know anything about the Milwaukee saw blades. It says it's a framing table saw blade, 8 1/4 inch, 24 tooth. Someone told me the blade that comes with these is actually quite good. It's better than just like a cheapo, so hopefully that's the case. I don't really know a whole lot about table saw blades because this, like I said, this is the first one I've ever owned, and going for it with the cordless, so hopefully it works out. Stuff fairly well packaged here, actually. It's kind of nice. Once in a while you get this stuff and it's kind of thrown in the box and it gets to you and it's all scratched up. It's kind of nice to have something that's this riving knife blade direction. I'll have to maybe look at what that's all about. And this, I believe, is the key for the blade. Yeah, so this is definitely the wrench to change the blade out. This must be something to do with it as well, but I'll might actually have to read the directions for that one. All right. Funny, when I was a kid, I used to like opening the toys and putting them together, and now I just can't even stand it. This, I have no idea what this is. I'll have to read the directions for this as well. Feels like it's some kind of stop to prevent kickback. Put this on, and if the saw kicks back, it digs into the wood so it doesn't go and shoot at you. That's occasionally can be a problem with table saws if you get a piece of material caught. All right. All right. And all right, so this of course is the table guide. This feels actually quite flimsy. It's not real terribly impressive. This is a nice piece of aluminum billet that feels pretty well made. The guide itself though is plastic, so I don't know, this piece feels pretty flimsy. If I can find a replacement guide for the saw, I'll probably buy one. This doesn't seem like it would last a whole lot of time if something drops on it or whatnot, but we'll give it a shot. It'll work for now. All right. Well, it's a Milwaukee, so it's a thing of beauty. See if there's any extras in here. And the one thing they've sure got figured out these days is how to pack in as much stuff in the absolute smallest possible available space in these packagings now. All right. So this is this for sure is the guide. It'll sit on top of the blade. All right, so we've got a handful of pieces. Geez, this saw looks nice. Some silica gel packs. All right, so we got this thing assembled. I actually had to read the directions to figure out how to do a few things. You could probably do a little tutorial video on how to set this thing up after, because there's a few little intricacies, but interesting. So the table fence, you can actually extend this out, and then it flips on the underside and sucks back into the table if you don't want to use this, so it stays with the saw and you don't have to just keep it in a box somewhere. The other interesting thing with this table fence, there's a built-in section for like a little guide so you can push your wood, but this is actually really smart. I really like this actually, because if you're out in the field and you're trying to do this stuff, chances are you're not bringing your little push bar from home, and you kind of forget about things. But once you get it lined up, there's this little lever, you push it down, that's rock solid. The other thing I like with this fence too, on cheaper table saws, they're only connected on one side and it's iffy if the cut's straight. But on this one, it's gear driven and it's anchored on both sides. So I think this actually increases your chances for a good cut significantly. Now, there's a few different options you got here. So this is the one I put on. It's basically got the little guard from the side. When I flip it around, I'll show you the kickback stop on it as well. If you don't want this guard, you can put just on the single riving knife. And what this does is basically when you're running a piece of material through it, keeps it from pinching back in on itself so the saw doesn't bind up. So kind of handy. Here's your start and stop switch under the button, and here's your blade lowering. Typically people keep their blades under the table when they're not using them. And this is just your bevel cut. All you do is flip this up like that, and then you can switch your cut to whatever angle you want. I'm just going to keep it at 0 degrees. All right, so that's front of it, but we're not done yet. Okay, on the battery side of things, I kind of like this. You got a spot to put your battery in, which it's tucked in here under the way. This, of course, is the brushless motor, which in my opinion will give you a lot longer longevity than a brushed motor. But what I really like is they put this handle in here. It just makes it you know, so much easier to carry if you're around the job site and you only have one hand. You can just grab this and go. All right, let's take a look at the back. Okay, let's take a look at the back. So here is, of course, the kickback spikes so when you're running your board through, if it wants to kick back, this will dig in and prevent it from shooting back on you. You don't need to use these, but for the first cut we're going to be doing, I kind of want this because I'm going to be ripping a board lengthwise and it might come in handy. This I really like as well. So this, you can put your shop vac up to there if you're inside and keep yourself a little bit cleaner. So that's handy. And here is just the lever right here that will help, that releases your rive knife. So really simple to use. Not intuitive if you've never set this up before, but when you do it once, you'll be able to do it a million times. Okay, so this side is where your table fence can store underneath. If you don't want to use it on the tabletop, you basically just take these levers off of each side, take your fence out, and it'll store on the underside and it'll suck back in tight to the table. And it's with you all the time. This lever here just locks in the table tight, so you can't twist the knob and accidentally take it out once you've adjusted it the way you want. But overall, this has really ergonomic, well-designed saw, very portable. I can't wait to try this out here. So let's go ahead and unbox the stand. All right, so now we're going to open up the saw stand. I'm pretty excited about this. I'm hoping it's not flimsy. I just like buying the stands that come with, they're supposed to be with the saws, and different tools just always work much better than buying an aftermarket one or something else, and it's definitely not worth your time to try to build one if you're a busy guy. So let's go ahead and see what we got here. No extra goodies in this one. All right. Well, the one thing fairly impressed with this Milwaukee stuff is it comes very well packaged. You don't have to worry about the stuff getting banged up in transport anyways. That's one thing for certain. Everything's becoming more and more like IKEA furniture. You're to set everything up you buy these days, it seems like, but I guess that's the price you pay. All right, so got this out of the box. This is powder coated, looks pretty nice, or maybe it's just painted, but it's definitely a nicer paint. And we'll go ahead and get this set up and put... All right, we got the stand assembled, so let's go ahead and get the table saw mounted on here. I definitely would recommend not throwing out the directions till you get this thing put in place. You do need a couple of basic tools that don't come with the stand, but let's face it, if you're buying a table saw, you probably already have them. You need a Allen key, and I use a socket, but you could use a wrench as well. But two basic tools I think most of you guys would have. So anyway, let's get the table saw put on this thing. All right, so we got the stand set up. The table saw has been assembled. The next step, we put it on here. I'm going to try to do it at height here so we can see it go on. But it looks pretty straightforward. It looks like the back slides into here. There's a lever on the front that clicks into here. So let's go ahead and try that out. All right, so that was pretty straightforward. Just slides in, one little lever to click down, and that's about all there is to it. So let's go back and try this out. I did find the spot for these extra accessories after all. There's the miter gauge, there's the extra bar for the top, and right here I was able to put my wrench to change the saw blade out. So there was actually a spot for everything, so that was great. Alright, that was our initial unboxing and the first cut of the Milwaukee FUEL table saw. First impressions, very well built. I was a little skeptical of the stand, that it was going to be shaky, but it was actually incredibly stable. I was quite impressed with it. Cut extremely well. The blade that came with the saw out of the box was super sharp, excellent blade. I'd actually probably buy another one to replace it when the time comes, just like it. It was good, I think it was 24 tooth saw, so cut very clean, all kinds of power. As soon as you turn it off, the saw stopped immediately. It was as much as I could have expected. I think the saw weighs about 45 pounds. It wasn't that heavy to cart around. It would be excellent for a remote job site where there was no power. And I definitely would give this 2 thumbs up and recommend it to anybody that's looking for a table saw. If you're doing like cabinetry work, I don't know, you probably want like a high-end saw built specifically for that with a lot of precision. But like if you're just ripping sheets of plywood and doing projects around the house, it's more than adequate in my opinion. Tons of power again, like I said before, and I definitely believe that it could do 600 linear board feet. I'm not sure how thick material it would have to be, but just seemed like it was unbelievable amount of power that this saw had, and it cut through a 2x6 like butter. So very impressed with the saw on its first cut. Really good initial first impression, and I would definitely recommend buying this. Get this Milwaukee stand as well. Fits in there, snaps together super tight. It's not, there's no play in it. And I did find the extra tool holders in the back of the saw once I got it set up and ready to go outside. So I figured there's probably something like that. I just hadn't looked around enough to figure it out. But anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the unboxing and the first cut and this short review of my first impressions. Make sure to give the video a like and subscribe. We're going to be doing some more videos for tool unboxings and new stuff. I try to only buy the best of the best tools. I'm getting rid of anything I can made in China. Unfortunately, even these great American companies like Milwaukee have outsourced all their stuff to China at this point. But we're going to be trying to do our best to just have American-made tools if possible. Definitely the hand tools you can still get here. As for other tools we're looking at, you know, anyone that says one brand will serve them all for everything isn't really telling the truth. So some other stuff we're going to look at, there's probably like Makita, yeah, there's a bunch of brands I guess. But unfortunately Makita used to be made in Japan, but they've unfortunately offshored their production to China as well, I've seen. So if you can get the older stuff, you're probably better off than this new stuff full of Chinese smoke here. But anyways, give the video a like, thumbs up, and make sure to subscribe, and we will see you in the next video.